So the official theme of engadinarttalks is grace and gravity, but there is also an unofficial theme, I think, which is the grace of friendship and collaboration. I should show you already some images when I introduce the next speakers. So I'm very happy to introduce Francescobonami and Juergen Teller. First, Francescobonami. He is originally an Italian, has now an American passport. He's a very famous curator, published many books. He's a very original writer. We collaborated too with Parquet. And he surprised the art world a couple of weeks ago that he is also a painter. And if you want to see the exhibition, it's 10 minutes from here in Schampf, in the gallery 107. And what did he do? He painted 50 portraits of our friend Hans-Ulrich Obrist. And so this is Francescobonami and Juergen Teller, who has a slightly German accent in his English, like Francesco has a slight Italian accent, and my accent, I have no accent. And why doesn't that work? So Francesco, Juergen Teller, they collaborated together. These is from a former group of works. I want to reveal that the word Teller in German means plate. So this is an image which stands for the beginning of Juergen's career with the band Nirvana, with whom he went on a tour. Kate Moss, Charlotte Rampling, who unfortunately could not come. She wanted to come, but then there were some problems. She was not able to come up. Yes, Björk. This is Juergen's mother. He included a lot of images of his mum in his works, which are now also in some museum collection. Irene im Wald is in the collection of the Centre Pompidou, and I have shown a couple of works in a former exhibition. This I showed in Deftig Baroque, Riotous Baroque. It's a model and Charlotte in front of La Mona Lisa, taken at night as a snapshot. You see I think it's your style, Juergen. It's a deliberate snapshot style in a sophisticated manner. But I wanted to point out that the Louvre is more naked than the women, I think, at night, no? With all the dirt on the wall of the tourists who wait that they can take a photo with flashlight, and the banisters, they keep distance to the picture, which is behind bulletproof glass. So, fashion, he's a very famous fashion photographer, besides being an artist who shows in galleries and museums. This is a more recent work. He does a lot of self-portraits, dressed and undressed. I think we're, that's it, yeah, okay. So I invite you to take a seat and engage in a conversation. Thank you.
Oh, I have, I don't know what I have. It works like that?
Does it work? Yeah, right?
We work with Juergen, we are friends since a long, long time, the 90s. We know each other very much, and he does the work. He's the artist, I'm just a painter, so that's a different thing, you know? He's going to present now a very beautiful project that has a lot to do with grace and gravity. And I think we want to introduce a little before we show the picture, no?
Yeah, yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for being here. I had a really great time yesterday and in the evenings and every talk and everything. I'm really happy I'm here. Thank you very much.
Thank you also. Thank you.
And so it started first that Beecher invited me to this thing here, and it was supposed to be happening with Phoebe Philo, and she dropped out for numerous reasons, and then I was together with Charlotte Rampling. And I thought, well, with Charlotte, that's easy. I've over years and years, I've worked a lot with her. I did lots of self-portraits, and you've seen this Louvre thing, and I thought that's going to be easy. And then suddenly, she has to take care of some of her cats. That's why she couldn't come.
Oh, the fox. He was bitten by the fox.
Yeah. And so I'm suddenly thinking, what the hell are we going to show now? And I was thinking, God, this grace and gravity, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, gravity. And I thought, I've worked 3 months on a project which really brought me back down to earth. And I'm kind of really proud about it. It's a charity project where this place is called Demelza, and it's a hospice for very sick children. And they're from babies to 18 years old, where partly the children go there to die, or the parents go there to drop the children off, and the parents have a bit of a rest. And there's going to be an exhibition in Bonhams, which is an auction house in London, in a couple of months, and hopefully lots of rich people are come and donate some money. Hopefully they are graceful to do that. And yeah.
So how did you approach the subject? Because it's a very tough project to...
They approached me and they said, you really should think about it, whether I want to do this or not, you know. And they invited me to go there and to have a look at it. And I thought, I don't want to, you know, I thought, like, I have to do this. You know, it's a really good thing to do. And I don't want to just go there and look at it, and I just want to go immediately and photograph it, because it's going to be easier for me to work immediately instead of just looking around and thinking, oh my God, these poor children and poor parents and everything like that, you know. So I kind of immediately went to work, and that helped me actually. And so I had my cameras with me and everything, and had one assistant, and then really quickly I thought, I don't. It felt like too disturbing to go with a bigger camera and everything like that. So I put the camera away and just did everything on the mobile phone, which felt like if an uncle is coming and does a picture, everybody's doing pictures over the mobile phone. So it was less intrusive to the kids and to the parents and everything.
The parents were there. You talk with the parents.
Yeah. And it was amazing to see it. Everything, it was like, whenever I was in this hospice, and sometimes I visited these children at their houses, how much patience they have, the parents. It's incredible. And how much love they have to these kids. And I always, when I went away from it, I just thought, oh my God, you know. It's like that sort of, these parents are sort of angels.
How you succeed in not being preachy, is not going there with a kind of too, I don't know the word, a good attitude in the way that you try to be as realistic as possible. Not in the picture, but in the approach.
as I always go, you know, I'm always quite normal, approaching everything pretty much the same. You know, like whether it's a really famous person or whether it's my mother or this, you know, I just go right in there.
And for you was the same approach? You didn't find any resistance inside yourself and from the institution?
Apart from that, I was shy at the beginning, you know. And some children, like then they you know, with the tube, they get fed and things like that, and then they were throwing up, and I'm thinking, ooh, should I photograph? Oh, this looks great. You know, I'm thinking, ooh, maybe I shouldn't photograph that. You know, so it's like at the beginning it was a really shy approach how I'm going to do this.
But also you were able to see through the tragic. There is a tragic reality, but through this tragic reality, you were able to see some grace, the grace of the entire process.
Yeah. It was amazing how these parents were with their kids. You know, it's like to see how I am with my kids, I have no patience. You know, like, you know, they were like amazing. These parents. I felt really happy to be involved in that project. It made me really. It was good.
When you came out from the project, you felt some kind of shifting feeling when you finished the entire thing.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. You know, you're just grateful for what you have. You know, that you're healthy and everything, and to be a bit more relaxed with your mother, with your people you love, you know, and not just like get you know, lose your temper.
And the organization that take care of these people, how did they come to you? I mean, you're not the most obvious choice to do a project like that. I mean, I wouldn't go, you know. No, I'm not laughing about it. I just say, what if I have something dealing with something so with such a gravity? I wouldn't think, oh, Juergen Teller is a perfect guy to take a picture. You know.
Well, they wanted to have somebody who is well known.
Yeah, I understand, but you know, they could
for whatever reason.
Araki. I mean, they didn't want to, you know.
They you know, this.
Do you think they felt that you were not only well known, but that there is always an intensity into your work that doesn't make you completely superficial?
I guess they thought maybe I do thoughtful portraits.
Yeah, that's what I say. You were well known, but that's not the only reason why they approach you, because it's, you know.
Well, I don't know.
To call you was a daring approach.
Yeah. That's why they said I really should think about this. You know. But they know my work. I guess it's simple how I honest. You know, how my pictures are sort of honest. You know, and the people in the photographs recognize themselves, and you have to also be sensitive towards the parents. You know, to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what they thought. What I do.
You took a picture also of the parents?
No, I did a little bit, but then I thought I took them out. I didn't. I thought it was better just the kids.
Just the kids. How many pictures you took?
I went there like 8 times, and to these 2 different hospices, and a couple of times to where they were living. And I spent each time I spent a day with them. You know, sometimes you don't do pictures. You know, you just play around with the kids. You talk to the parents, and then something happens, and then that's when you think, ooh, now you do the picture. You know, you just spend some time with them.
And do you feel that your work has all a certain gravity? Beside this subject?
What do you think?
I think it's. I wouldn't define your photography heavy as a gravity. There is a difference between heavy and gravity. Gravity is something that grounds you in the world, that grounds you inside reality, and heavy, it's a different thing. I mean, I can imagine many photographers that could have taken over this project and do it heavy without gravity, you know?
Right, yeah.
Try to
I wanted to
make aesthetically more pleasant, or take a kind of...
I wanted to
There is not,
make it very
what I'm saying,
colorful.
there is not a attempt to show beauty. There is a attempt to, again, here you have the different thing between grace and beauty. You bring gravity and grace, and there are another artist or photographer could have tried to go in and try to pull out beauty and make it heavy.
Right.
You know, I don't know the name of the photographer, but you know.
Yeah.
You know. You know, you had to take a dead one. So you know, Cecil Beaton, he could have done something very heavy and beautiful.
Yeah.
There is no beauty inside this project.
You don't think?
There is grace. I don't think there is beauty. Let's be honest.
Right. Yeah.
There is grace. Beauty is a different thing. It's something that beauty is something that makes you forget about the subject. Here, you are always inside the subject. And I think that's, I assume that's what you achieved.
Yeah.
You know? What do you think? Do you see beauty? I mean, I don't know.
No, you're right. Yeah. It's I think it's graceful, yeah.
Yeah, it's graceful. It's nothing to do. There's not an aesthetic indulgence in it. You know, also maybe the way you take the pictures or something. I mean, there is not... in a way, while in other photographs of you, there is more tension and contrast between beauty and some roughness. In this case, I think there is a balance between the truly roughness of the subject and the gravity and the gracefulness. It's all complete. You don't see, there is not an attempt to, I wouldn't say shock, but to create a tension in the viewer. You know. It's hard to look at it, but at the same time, it's graceful.
Yeah. That's all really what we can say about it, right?
Yeah, I don't think there is much more to say. Yeah. You know. And where a project like that bring you? Where a project like this bring you beside your private life? It bring you somewhere else in the way you look at things and...
Yeah. It's like with every project, you know, it brings you somewhere. Yeah, but like this morning was exciting.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't compare this. I feel embarrassed to compare me and Hans with recoveries. Yeah, we are very lucky, you know. If you know, in spite of our look, me and you and him all together, we are very lucky still. You know, I saw the picture. We don't look so good, but still, we are extremely grateful for what we do. We are able to do projects that are fun and enjoyable, and then you are confronted with these other things that are more, you know, make you wonder.
Yeah.
You know, things. I think that's a different approach to.
I felt actually quite positive after this. I felt actually quite positive whenever I went to these parents and the kids. Afterwards, I left really with a positive feeling, even if it was so heavy. But how the parents was, I say it again, and I felt positive how they deal with this. It was amazing to see.
Yeah, but I hope you didn't feel positive this morning, because that will take away the positivity of your feeling there. So, yeah. So you have a question, maybe.
I already see an arm there.
Thank you. I was wondering, in the sense of longevity, do you think you will, in the sense of longevity, would you keep supporting this project on the long run, or do you think that for you it ends up after the auction? And also this raised for me another question, which is, with the power you have and the voice you have, how do you see the artist's responsibility also with engaging more in social causes, to use that not only aside from your art history? Thank you.
I think it's that project in a way is done, you know, after thought, and I will give them some money too, and And I also worked in my hometown with 6 and 7-year-old children. I did a sort of a 6-month project with them, and the children really enjoyed themselves. And I also am a professor at the Academy der Bildenden Künste in Nuremberg for 5 years now. It was a very defining moment when I came to London in '86. There was one photographer called Nick Knight who really encouraged me and helped me. And I could hardly speak any English, and I kind of wanted to assist him and everything. He says, "No, you don't have to assist. Why do you want to assist anyone? You should look at your work. I give you some addresses." And he made some appointments for some record companies. And he says, "On Tuesday, you go here." So I just went with my portfolio, and showed it to them. And I never forget how he helped me. And I thought, well, I'm at this age now, not too old, but not young, that I'm actually able maybe to help some young people with my advice and things like that. So that's...
What I find surprising is we started yesterday with Thomas Hirschhorn, who was surprising us with his insistence on the topic grace. And we end now somehow the 2 days with Juergen surprising us with yes, his emphasis on gravity, maybe unexpectedly. And yes, there are other questions. Before, I also want to ask if you don't have questions to Francescobonami. Yes?
Thank you very much. Francesca, I know that you've been an artist before. You became curator. So my question is, were you anxious all this time practicing as a curator and not being an artist? And now, do you take yourself seriously as an artist, or it's a play, or it's both?
No, the answer is, first of all, I don't take myself seriously ever, neither as a curator, neither as a whatever. As I say before, that's my weakness, that's my strength and my weakness, that I don't take myself seriously. As I say before, I'm not an artist, I'm a painter. That's I can say, I'm a painter, but it's an artist and a photographer. I'm just I know how to do some medium painting. You know? I can do better. No, I don't feel, I don't take, you cannot take yourself seriously so much. And as I say, you know, the art world is a beautiful world, but we should not take ourselves so seriously. I mean, it's, we enjoy, we are very lucky to be in the art world, and I don't want to be moralistic about it or something, but I'm 63, I decided to do what I want, so I decided to do 50 portraits on Zurich covers, and I did them. You know, and I was very grateful to Dino Zevi that he was very brave, because he asked me to curate the show, and I say, well, I really don't want to curate a show. Because I really don't want to curate a show in general. And then I say, you know, I say what I can come up with a smart idea, which is not smart at all. And so I say, the only thing I can tell you, if you want to know the process, I mean, I feel funny to talk about this thing after Juergen showed all this more serious thing. But I say, you know, I first of all say, well, Zurich is 50. We could ask 50 artists, friends of Zurich, to do a portrait of him. And then I started thinking, oh my God, you call all these people, half of them are assholes. They come up with stupid ideas, and then some people refuse to do it because they're too busy, and they take themselves too seriously about this thing. So I told Dino, why I don't do the 50 portraits, you know? And then I didn't realize what I was talking about, because then he printed the invitation 50, and I was doomed to do 50. So at one point, at the 42nd portrait, I almost want to kill myself because I couldn't come up with anything more. You know, it was 2 in the morning, I had to go back to Milano, and I had to do this other 8 portrait, and that was very, very tough. But then I concentrate, I got a Nescafé cup, because that's the only thing you can find in Schanf. Nescafé is the only thing you can survive on. And I drink a Nescafé cup, and I come up with another very good portrait. And then I say, yes, there is something, still something inside of myself. There is something left of Hans Ulrich inside of myself. I can pull it together. And I did it, and I was very happy. So that's the thing.
Another question?
Can I have another one? Sorry, that will be the last one. Juergen, and what do you think of this dynamics not to be serious? Because there is like very generic motto, don't be hard on yourself, where we hear it all the time. Why wouldn't we be hard with ourselves and more serious?
Well, I'm very similar to Francesco, I think, right?
Uh-huh.
But
I'm Italian, he's German, but behind that, we are almost identical.
within the stupidness within my pictures, I take it very seriously. You know, that's all I can say. You know, it has to be clever, stupid, clever. You know, and deep down, it has a real, you know, heaviness to it. My work and a lot of my self-portraits. Yeah, it's very subtle, and a lot of people don't really, you know, don't really. It's funny with photography because everybody thinks they can look at a picture and judge a picture, but it's actually quite complex and difficult.
For example, when we did that picture with the head between the legs, I come up with a stupid idea. I should put the head between the legs of this girl. And say, oh yeah, that's great. Put your head under the legs. Yeah. And then, you know, I put them, and it comes that stupid picture. Yeah.
Another last question?
Down there is one.
There, yeah.
Actually, it's not a question so much for Mr. Teller as I would like to make a comment that when I saw his exposition at Photo Museum Winterthur, the collaborative video between him and Charlotte Rampling, I feel, is incredibly deep and thought-provoking. And maybe a lot of people were shocked and turned away. It was interesting to see how people responded. But for me, I felt like it really spoke to many universal truths and flipped patriarchy on its head. And it was such a breath of fresh air to
well, thank you very
work.
much.
Mm-hmm. This is a wonderful last comment. Thank you.